Hello, today we're chatting with our featured Steel City designer, Devon Spec. Thank you for joining us, Devon.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So the goal of the conversation is to learn a little bit about you as a graphic designer and to help you stand out as an incredible talent in Pittsburgh. So without further ado, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and your experience?
Okay, so I'm a creative director slash art director slash graphic designer slash digital designer. I have over 20 years of experience. I'm looking for right now for some projects that are kind of like small one-offs and just smaller scale projects. My plate's a little bit full right now, but I do have some time to dedicate to other things. I love doing conceptual innovation and collaborating, being leadership, and they're all essentials to success in creative design, I feel. And I have a lot of experience developing, directing, executing senior level professional visionary projects for high profile brands, and I'm excited to kind of see where all of this takes me. So
Very nice. So, I mean, you mentioned a lot of different aspects of graphic design there. You mentioned digital and art direction, among many others. So, if we look at the term graphic designer, what does being a graphic designer mean to you?
being a graphic designer is just the ability to take an idea or some information and kind of mold it into something that's tangibly effective in getting, a message across, and really making it beautiful and compelling. So it can mean a lot of things across a lot of different avenues too.
So, in terms of this year, so 2020 obviously has been a crazy year.
Sure has.
You know, being a graphic designer really means you have to sort of roll with the punches. So if you could take a couple of seconds talking about, how has the pandemic affected you and your career, or, how has it impacted your approach to your work?
Yeah, it's been pretty crazy for everybody. And I feel like, marketing's always the first to get cut, it kind of feels like. So I did have a full-time job with a large global company, and got let go, and kind of just used that time to grieve a little bit, but then also kind of mold in my mind, just take a minute and like breathe and figure out what I want to do and who I want to, technically like be when I grow up. Or I just felt like it kind of, afforded me some really like quality time with myself to figure out what I want to do in my life and what will make me happy. And instead of flying out of the nest, I got kicked out, and that's fine too. So, but right now I'm working for myself, and have a few really awesome clients who, I really get and they get me. And it's just really nice to be able to work with someone one-on-one without having, the office politics and all the opinions. And I really enjoy that, like one-on-one, get your hands dirty and kind of like wrestle with something until it's what the client wants. So that's kind of where I am right now. And I'm loving it. I'm really having a good time.
Well, that's awesome to take what could be seen as a terrible event in so many ways and turn it into something that's working for you. So let me transition a little bit, but it's a good segue into, your passion. So what are you passionate about in terms of, where you feel your skills as a designer could make a positive impact? In other words, if you could choose any industry to work in, what would it be and what would you do?
Sure. It's a funny thing that a lot of designers say, we're not saving lives, we're making things pretty. So I don't necessarily think that that's true. I mean, if you look at design for hospitals or for, informational pamphlets for cancer patients and all that kind of stuff. And I've always kind of wanted to get into something more, just something that can make more of an impact on humanity. Like I have a friend who works for Teladoc, and it really got me thinking, there are ways to kind of make a really positive impact on the community and, help out your fellow man while doing what you love, which could be pretty cool. So I don't know if that answered the question. I kind of got off on a tangent, but
I mean, and I'm not trying to narrow it down to a single industry, but do you feel like you have a passion for the healthcare industry then, or is it broader than that?
It actually is always kind of something that I wanted to kind of look into. I have a real passion for like wellness, health, and beauty. And I feel like that kind of goes hand in hand with, like, just wellness and healthcare. So
Sure. So then, what do you look for in a company?
I've come to find out that what I look for in a company is like a super, like a looser culture, one where everyone can kind of speak their mind and not worry about, being shut down or, being told that they have a bad idea. That's kind of toxic. And I feel like they say there are no bad ideas. There are bad ideas, but it could spark another idea that's better, that you're always like riffing off somebody. And, having that like communication, I think, is very important. And the people in the leadership roles to be able to listen to, everybody from the junior designer to, I mean, hell, if the janitor was coming by and was like, hey, well, I was thinking about that, like, listen to them. Everybody's creative.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, given your passions and your experience then and what you're looking for, is there, and with Pittsburgh being such a rich community in terms of companies, jobs, roles in terms of design, is there one company you'd love to work with?
In the Pittsburgh area?
I mean, anywhere.
Anywhere. I think it would be really, really fun to work for some brands that I'm kind of loving right now is, I don't know if you've seen them, Ritual. They're this multivitamin, super fresh take on, what your body needs, what your body doesn't, feels very clean. Like it's just, you should check it out. It's very cool. The copy is very like user friendly and makes you feel like you're a part of something. It's not cold clinical. I love package design. I signed up for Birchbox just to get different beautiful packaging and samples, just to see, what's out there that, you couldn't normally spend $70 on a face cream, but if you get a sample and you can like touch it and feel the packaging, is just very cool to me. So that's pretty nerdy, but love beauty and wellness. Not really sure what I would do in Pittsburgh with that, but I guess that's the beauty, if there is any, in COVID too, is that you can kind of look outside your little bubble as well.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, with the remote workforce just expanding and not knowing what the future holds, definitely, Pittsburgh turns into from a mid-sized market to a much bigger market, and designers specifically can really start to branch out, which is fantastic. It's just
it gets kind of scary. Yeah, it gets kind of scary once you've worked at a few places and then you're like, where do I go now? And then you feel like a dinosaur, and then you're like, oh, I'm too old to go to ModCloth, or you just feel like you're like siloed, and you shouldn't feel like that, and nobody should feel like that.
Yeah, absolutely, I agree. So if you could tell a hiring manager one thing, what would it be?
I would say to maybe kind of look past what you think a person's all about until you speak with them. I've come to kind of find out that what's on the outside might not always be what's on the inside, and a person, someone that you think a person could be, they might be completely different, and it just helps to really have like an honest conversation with that person and ask them what they're looking for, because quite honestly, I never used to think that a job had to be a good fit for me as well. Like I was just lucky to have the job, and I don't feel that way anymore. I don't think that's the case, and maybe that comes with experience too, but I think it needs to be a good fit for both the company and the person, or the client and the designer. So
Absolutely. Yeah. Interviews go both ways.
mhm.
So Steel City Designers is about bringing the Pittsburgh design community closer together. And so in the name of promoting others, is there one designer or manager that has either helped you or motivated you in your career?
Um, yeah, there's been a few. Do you want me to like name names and places?
Sure. Give
um,
them a shout out.
oh, okay. There's a creative manager at Dick's Sporting Goods that kind of took a chance on a very, I would say I was young. I was kind of in like my mid to late 20s, gave me a chance at, being an AD at Dick's Sporting Goods as a contractor. And probably wasn't, maybe the best choice for the job, but I took it and I embraced it and I ran with it, and really kind of, I always think about that. Like, he took that chance on me. He stayed in contact with me for 2 years, and then took me under his wing and kind of molded me, and just taught me so much. And I just always have felt grateful for that.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, that ends our interview. So I want to say thank you for your participation and certainly your dedication to design. And hopefully, this video gets in the right hands. Thank you so much, Devon.
Yeah, thank you so much, Luke. It's been
All
great.
right.